מכתם לדוד, שומרני אל כי חסיתי בך, אמרת לאדוני, אדוני אתה טובתי בא עליך, לקדושים אשר בארץ המה, ואדירי כל חפצי בם, ירבו עצבותם, אחר מהרו בל אסיך נזקיהם מדם, ובל אשא את שמותם על שפתי. אדוני מנת חלקי וחוסי, אתה תומך גורלי. חבלים נפלו לי בנעימים, אף נחלת שפרה עלי. אברך את אדוני אשר יעצני, אף לילות יסרוני חיליותי. שהביתי אדוני לנגדי תמיד, כי מימיני בל אמות. לכן שמח ליבי ויגל כבודי, אף בשרי ישכון לבטח. כי לא תעזוב נפשי לשאול, לא תיתן חסידך לראות שחר, תודיעני אורח חיים, זו בשמחות את פניך, נעימות בימינך נצח. On behalf of the family of Maxine Newman, I thank all of you for being here today as we pay tribute to Maxine. Maxine was an almost lifelong member of Temple Beth David. We find ourselves today in the home of Temple Beth El, and it's my honor to invite Rabbi Bitran to recite the 23rd Psalm.
Please join me by picking up the Siddur in front of you and opening on page 197. 197. I will recite the 23rd Psalm in Hebrew, and you can accompany me in the translation to English. Mizmor le David, Adonai roi lo exar. ונודה שירביצני על מי מלוכות ינהלני נפשי ישובב ירחני במקל צדק למען שמו גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא ירא רע כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. ארוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. Shanta bashemen roshi kosi revaya.
Oil, my cup overflows.
Nachtov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai.
Surely goodness and kindness shall be
V'shavti bebeit Adonai le'orech yamim.
We are joined today by Maxine's son Larry, daughter-in-law, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and it is my honor to invite Eric to come and share some words about his grandmother.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out on Mother's Day for my grandmother. My grandmother, Grammy, was very social, as you all know. I visited her in Florida over February break several times when I was about 14 or 15. And one time Sam joined me, I was there by myself. The schedule was something like on on Monday, we went to the pool because her neighbor's granddaughter was there and she thought I'd like her. And then we played dominoes in the afternoon. And then that night we went and there was like a kind of someone that was in a chorus at a Broadway show in the 40s that was doing kind of a little song and dance thing, so we went dancing. And that Tuesday we went to a diner that was 25 minutes away to meet some friends of hers from Rochester, and then I couldn't join the Mahjong game because there wasn't a substitute in the afternoon, and she liked playing in that game, so I hung out with my grandfather, which was nice because it was already a break for me. That night we got together with friends from Canada that she met line dancing a couple years ago. In just the whole week, that's just kind of who my grandmother was. She was just an incredibly social person. She had just a packed social schedule. But she wasn't just a social person in terms of having a very busy schedule. She was just a social person, period. If you spent time with her in a restaurant or at a store, she would be talking to the cashier for 5 minutes as the people behind her were getting delayed. She would be talking to a waitress and asking about the niece's academic issues that she had talked with the waitress about 3 weeks before when she was in the diner. It was just kind of this constant kind of social, kind of personal connection that my grandmother had a really kind of special ability to just kind of see people and make them feel comfortable briefly and talk to her. And then COVID happened, and like many of us, we were more isolated and lonely. But for me, I think I would like to remember my grandmother as just the social butterfly she was for so much of her life. And she was just really outgoing and fun. And that's how I would like to remember her. And for me, what that looks like is kind of putting down my phone in public sometimes and saying hi to the person behind me in the supermarket line, asking a follow-up question like, why is your day good? I won't do that nearly as much as she did because I'm much more of an introvert than she was, which is true of all of us probably, except for my brother maybe. But yeah, for me, I just think that the ways that she was able to make personal connections with people was really special, and that's how I'm gonna kind of choose to remember her and try to act a little bit more like her. She had a really full and fulfilling life, and I think that's one of the main reasons why. And now Sam can come up and talk a little bit about all the ways that my grandmother had a fulfilling life. Thanks.
Okay, Maxine. Well, where do I begin? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Maxine's grandson, Sam, better known as Sammy, and to everyone else, the favorite grandchild. For the better part of the last 20 years, my grandmother and I talked every day, via phone, via FaceTime, text. When I went on a work trip, I would call her when I landed. If I was walking back from a night out with friends as the sun rose, I'd call her also. And hours of time spent aimlessly blabbering away about every subject from politics to dancing, salacious gossip, and of course, in her father's honor, detective cases and murder mysteries. We still, Maxine, don't know who killed John Benet Ramsey. That was a conversation 3 weeks ago. Years ago, over dinner at Jeremiah's, she gave me a list of topics to discuss at her funeral. She told me not to wear black, that when she was 5 years old, she almost died, and the doctor apparently told her that if she followed through and lived, he'd buy her cake. So she stayed alive for the cake. We reminisced that despite being called Grammy, she would never win a Grammy as she had a very lousy voice. Not only did that not stop her from singing, she spun it to her advantage. As little kids, Eric and I would spend the night at her house after Thanksgiving, and she would sing us lullabies, the traumatic Close Your Little Eagles song. Her voice was so bad we'd pretend to fall asleep so we didn't have to listen to her sing. She famously told me over the years, quote, why say no when you can say yes? That, quote, I should never forget, it's always about the money, and that I should never call her before 9 a.m. unless someone dies, in which case they'll still be dead after 9, so don't call me before 9. She also told me the problem with nude beaches is that the people you want to see nude don't go to nude beaches. A few years back, I called her and she answered the phone. When I asked why she was answering the phone in the shower, she replied, "The better question is, why do I have a phone in the shower?" I still don't know the answer to that question. In the mid-90s, she read some article about date rape drugs. The ever-concerned grandparent, determined to make sure this would never happen to us, she used to make us practice. We had to hold a glass of water and never put it down. After all, if we put the glass down, someone could slip something in it. So to date, I can hold a drink for a weirdly long amount of time. What was in the other hand? A spatula. Why? She still wanted pancakes for breakfast. And what could go wrong making a 7-year-old stand over an open flame with a glass of water and a spatula in the other hand? The stories are endless. Taking scissors after Thanksgiving and cutting Jell-O out of the shag carpet, rather than cleaning it or just asking the Newman men not to get Jell-O on the floor in the first place. In fact, over the years, she would rearrange where everybody sat as we had cut bald spots in the carpet. Trips to Florida, gambling boats into international waters when we were underage, and by that I mean 13. Dance parties, the time she leaned over the chair, looked at the floor, and waved, "Hi, Albert." The hours and hours spent standing over her paper shredder, shredding all her medical and financial documents. The fact she lied about her age and her middle name. She told me to end this speech by reminding everybody she loved her family, but she loved dancing more, and that as we carry her down the aisle, as though this is a wedding and not a funeral, that we should play Bobby Darin's Mac the Knife. Why? Because despite the fact the song tells the story of a knife-wielding criminal of the underworld, who in one version of the song was described as a, quote, cutthroat rapist and seducer of underage girls, the 1958 big band version that won Bobby Darin 2 Grammy Awards ended with the famous lyrics, "Now that Mackie's back in town, look out, old Mackie's back." So Maxine, I don't know which town you're going to, but I hope it's as legendary as you are.
We are here at this sacred hour on a beautiful spring morning. We've come from near and even as far away as Texas and Israel to say goodbye to our beloved Maxine Newman and to accompany her on a final journey, a journey to the place of her eternal rest in this, the city of her birth, the place where she spent almost her entire life. When a loved one merits to live a life of 96 full years, and has been present for the entirety of the lives of almost everyone she leaves behind, it is difficult to conceive of exactly how the world is supposed to function without her, especially someone with such an outsized presence and place in the lives of so many. Like an echo that continues to resonate even after the voice has stopped. Maxine can still be heard and felt, and her love endures strongly for all. Her surviving son Larry, the love that she had for her dear Bruce, for her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, extended family and friends. Limnot yamenu ken hoda v'niva levav chokhmah. Teach us to count our days, that we may obtain a wise heart. The 90th Psalm teaches us. As we reflect on Maxine's life and we transition to living our own lives in a world without her, We turn to her blessed memory to understand the meaning of a wise heart, and we take lessons from someone who really knew how to live each and every single day. And the lessons are many. Find great richness in your family and your friends. Be flexible and tolerate the ups and downs of friendships, the vicissitudes of life, and know how to forgive and move on, never taking yourself too seriously. Don't just keep yourself busy, but love what it is that you do. Identify your skills and then excel at them so that you bring your best self to a job at which you might spend decades of your life, so that it rewards you and with the gifts of bringing meaning into your life and the opportunity to touch the lives of those around you. Teach financial responsibility and literacy to your children and grandchildren, and show up for their games even when they live many hours away. Make your home the place that people want to be, even if you're not the world's greatest cook. And at the end of a long week, not just of working, but a week of mothering and wifing and friending, make sure that you dance. Yesterday morning at our Shabbat service at Temple Beth David, a congregation which was Maxine's home for almost all of its 70 years in existence thus far, we reflected on Parashat Acharei Mot Kedoshim, which speaks of the complex theme of holiness. Those who joined us took the opportunity to reflect aloud during the service about the meaning of holiness, expressing the sense that it often entails distinguishing between the sacred and the mundane, setting aside opportunities to elevate not only that which is sacred, but identifying opportunities to elevate ourselves too, so that we may know and truly experience how special this life is. And for Maxine, it seems there was no holier experience than to dance on a Saturday night, or at a wedding, or at B'nai Mitzvah. Indeed, one could conclude that the dance floor was the high temple, her favorite place of worship, and all things considered, I think that's okay. It's more than okay. Teach us to count our days that we may obtain a wise heart. And thus we learn from Maxine the value of living with passion, living with purpose, living with love, while playing cards and mahjong might mean a lot to one. They shouldn't mean anywhere near as much as the people you're playing with. And so sometimes when those people are not looking, you might even slip a card or two into their piles so that they can win. And isn't that just an exquisite lesson and metaphor for all of us? Teach us to count our days that we may obtain a wise heart. One cannot imagine any lesson or card which could trump that. Friends, Maxine Newman was someone who walked and loved amongst us, who truly knew how to squeeze the most out of a lifetime of 39 years over and over again. She also was one who liked to speak amongst us, and so I've been warned that she would not want me to talk for too long, as she would have preferred to be the one who does the talking. And now, Maxine's is a voice that we shall hear no more. But the echo of all that she brought into this life resonates daily among her loved ones and will continue to do so for the rest of their days. Doubtlessly, it will rise in intensity at the special holy moments that we set aside to remember her, to feel her presence, and especially when we dance. In a moment we shall recite the memorial prayer, and after that we will escort Maxine out of the sanctuary and follow to the cemetery. Please rise. El male rachamim shochen bamromim hametzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina b'ma'alot kedoshim u'turim כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת מקסין בת אלברט ובלנש שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תמנוחתה. אנא בעל הרחמים אסיריה בשאת כנפיך לעולמים. וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה. ונאמר Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, to the soul of Maxine Albert Blanche, Maxine Newman, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And together we say, Amen.